Hi guys, this is Miss Flavia with Little Blank Canvas. I want to talk to you guys about art supplies. So I have so many people getting in touch and asking what kind of supplies, what kind of brand, what do you feel like we really need to have it? Should we spend money on this or that? So I just thought we'd make a little video about it and try to give you some help. So you're not going to be spending a lot of money or buying things that are actually going to end up in the trash because it won't work. So I feel like a few things to consider before you get into the supplies. First of all, some of the supplies you're going to get, even if they're going to be a little bit more expensive than the cheap ones you may find, they actually can last longer. So they're going to be actually more affordable. So they can last longer. Your kid is not going to be as frustrated when they're trying, or not frustrated at all, because they're going to get the result that they're expecting. And especially if they're taking classes with us online, they will see that the same thing that we're doing, they are doing over there, and they're going to get similar results. At least the quality of it is going to be very similar. So I think it's important that it helps with frustration. It helps you not having to spend a lot of money or trying things that may not work for you later on. And then having to go and back again and shop for some more and then throwing things away. So anyway, so because we want to take care of the environment too, we don't want to create that amount of trash if we can help. We put a list of all the supplies that we tested, that we recommend, not only for our students, but what we feel would be a very good setup for your kid at home. And most of the supplies, other than the acrylic, are going to be safe and super easy to clean up. So we highly recommend you take a look at the list. It's at littleblankcanvas.com. You can look at under Little Blank Canvas art supplies. All of the supplies you're going to see listed on the website, you can actually find in any craft store. Even Walmart and some department stores may have some of these brands, but we put a list with links to Amazon. So if you're not leaving your house, you don't want to drive to the craft store because you're going to end up buying even more than you should, you can click on the link and it gets delivered to your door in today's, if you have Prime, so depending on availability, you can get it delivered at your door. It's very convenient. So anyway, so things that I want to make sure that I mention now you don't forget. If you're using acrylic paint at home, and for some of the painting sessions and even for some of the classes, we do recommend getting acrylic paint. I would say make sure that you have an adult to set up a table. You can get old t-shirts that you don't care for anymore and just use as a rag or paper towel. You can use a little cardboard or maybe the back of some paper pads and tape the paper. If you're using paper, if you're using canvas, then I would highly recommend you just put a tablecloth or something and just wear something that if you get acrylic on your shirt or on your clothes, it won't stay there forever. When the paint is still wet, you can easily clean up with some hot water, but once it dries, acrylic is going to stain on fabric. So it's easy to wash out from your skin, but from fabric, that's why we always have an apron. So in terms of acrylic, I would just get the student grade. Don't get something so cheap it's going to be more watery, or don't get something too expensive because maybe just you're not there yet. Brushes, we have a set of brushes. I like to have many different sizes and different types of brushes. So depending on the kind of painting I'm doing, I may want something a little bit more small so I can get to the little details. I may want something a little bit bigger, and so I can easily do the wash on my background or get to bigger areas. So I think that a set of maybe 7, 8 brushes would be good to get you started, and I wouldn't spend too much money. Just avoid the plasticky ones or the ones that look kind of rough too much. Canvases, I would say the packages that they have at Michael's, or sometimes they buy, you have it on Amazon, a few that you buy 2 or 3, they have a really good price, and I would just start with something not too big. 11 by 14 is a great size for kids because they would take the time working on, but they also have, it's not too tiny that they're gonna be like done and leave. So 11 by 14 is a good size for a canvas to get you started. The regular size that we usually use for painting sessions is 16 by 20, but it's quite big. So if you don't want to, and if you don't have enough space on your walls, an 11 by 14 would be good. We also recommend having a plastic palette with some of these pockets. So it would help, it prevents the kids wanting to mix all the paint. Ask me how I know. So if you have a little paper plate or something like this, you can cover with tin foil and you can reuse it. Just cover with some film so the acrylic won't dry too quickly, because it does dry fast. But if you cover on aluminum foil and you cover with a plastic film, it won't dry as fast. But I would say having the little pockets helps a lot, because then the kids, the eager to mix, it will be retained a little bit, so they won't go for the mixing color so quickly. And that happens a lot, especially for young kids. If they see all the paint on a plate, they're mixing it, so we get like a brownish neutral color very quickly. The other thing is, if you're using watercolor, and I love liquid watercolor, but I think to get started, the watercolor palette, the pans are actually really good. You need to have a good watercolor paper. You don't have to worry about buying the too expensive one, but make sure that you have a watercolor paper that is at least, I'm gonna check, like 140 grams, that is thick enough that it's not gonna just wrinkle if you when you apply water. Especially kids, they getting started with watercolor, they tend to have way more water, make it too liquid. So you want to make sure that it's not going to be just something that's gonna, the paper is gonna break, or it's gonna make holes as they're using the brush. So a good watercolor paper, watercolor. Instead of getting crayons, I would just really go for oil pastel. There are many brands, they're really, really good, and they last longer. The effect is, it's so beautiful, especially when you're combining with watercolor, one of our favorite things to do. But you can buy for like $14 a set with 28 from a brand that is really good, that we highly recommend getting it, and it would be really incredible in terms of the effect, the colors, the everything, and the experience with working with a soft and smooth kind of crayon. The other thing we found that we really like is a brand called Uhulu. You can buy an alcohol brush that has two sides, so one that is thicker, the other one that is thinner, 48 colors for like $30, and they last a long time. So I highly recommend these markers. For the students who are taking classes, you can check the website for some specific ones, but one of the things that we like to do with students when they're taking classes, either online or in person when we had the physical location, is to work with a variety of materials. And I think it's important to expose kids, especially, to a lot of different ways and combining supplies. They can start understanding how these materials work and how they work together. And they can make better decisions, they can express themselves better. It kind of builds some confidence knowing that they have already tried and have already tested some of the things, and they know what they like more. So things that I highly recommend: oil pastel, a good watercolor pen, and you find it on the list, a good watercolor paper, a drawing paper. If you buy the pad, if you buy the block, it can be really accessible. These markers, watercolor pencil, I absolutely love Prismacolor pencils. I know they can be pricey, but depending on some sales they have on Amazon or at Michael's, you can get a coupon for 40-60%. So look out for these coupons so you can buy at a very good price. But Prismacolor pencils are incredible, the way they blend in, and it's just like, it's a game changer. I say this. And again, they last longer. Then I would say there is a modeling clay, polymer clay. The brand is Sculpey. And they have many different levels. I would say go for the Sculpey 3. Right now, this is, they changed the way they categorize their clay. But that clay is really good. It's super soft. It's so easy to handle. Small hands can definitely work really well with that type of clay. And it's not air dry, so you can keep working on the project until you're ready to bake. And you can bake actually in your kitchen, so you don't need to have anything special. So there are many different tutorials, and we teach a lot of techniques on how to use polymer clay. I would recommend getting bigger clay in white and black, and then get the primary colors, and you're gonna be good with that. And usually when we working with that type of clay, we use tin foil to make kind of the structure, so we don't have to use a lot of clay. So depending on the sets you buy, for 8 ounces or 2 ounces each color, you can actually make it last longer. They can be kind of pricey, but they're so worth it. I mean, you see and you try and you see it makes beautiful artwork. Other things that I like to do when we're doing a collage, know that there are many scissors that can be very easy and safe for kids to use, and I highly recommend getting kids as young as 3 to feel comfortable using scissors and working with scissors. I think when they go to kindergarten, they should already have a good understanding of how it works, and it helps with fine motor skills. It helps with coordination. There are many benefits. So for younger than 3, I love ripping paper. I think it's a good practice. They can work with coordination again and get ready when they are good for handling scissors. But I think having a good and safe pair of scissors would kind of take your mind out of being concerned about anything. And I think it's a good practice. But having the sticker foam sheets, so they have like maybe 9 by 12, or if I'm mistaken, 8 by 10 size sheets made of foam, and they have an adhesive side, a sticky side, great for them to cut and glue on a surface. Sorry, my dog, I think he wants to be part of this conversation. And this is really good because it's easy to cut through that, and it's also a great way for you to build a board, a collage, and then you can paint over, do some printmaking. There's so many different projects you can do with the foam sheets. The other one that we really love is chalk pastel, soft pastel. It can be very messy, but a nice set of 12 soft pastel, it's a great tool for you to learn how to do blending. There's so many beautiful projects you can do with soft pastel, and I think it's so worth having it. I like the experimentation with it and trying using that dust that comes out of it to create, and how to blend in, and using Q-tips and other things to make a different effect. I think it's a great material for kids. But other than that, just the basic ones that I listed before: markers, color pencils, making sure you have a good paper, a good enough paper for them to avoid any frustration, unnecessary frustration, and just have a good attitude about using it home. Make sure that you have a safe place where they can get messy, they can experiment and try instead of trying to control so much. We usually at Little Blank Canvas, the approach is to try to control the supplies more than controlling the students. I feel like they feel safe, they know where to go, they have kind of a control environment, and say they are completely free to explore, to create, to follow their own instincts. So these are very good supplies to get you started. If you look at the website again, littleblankcanvas.com, under supplies, you can see all the links, all the brands, and everything we love. And we have tested many times, so we know that these are going to set you in a good place to get started. Most of these supplies will last for many projects, so maybe just buying a few canvases and paper here and there, but everything else will be with you for a long time. So I want to make sure that they're good price, but they also good quality. They last as they should last. a little bit longer. If you have any questions, always get in touch with us. You can send emails, you can call us, you can send messages on Instagram, on Facebook. So just get in touch with us. We'll be more than happy to help you. And if you're interested in taking classes with us, the classes we are offering right now are for kids that are 4 and up. We have some painting sessions. We're putting together a list of workshops that we're gonna create with different themes. So we're so excited. Hope we helped. We were able to help you, and I hope to see all of you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.